Hey, everybody, it's Georgia Rose. I'm in the soul space for Zenkuda, and I'm so glad that you all joined me because we have so much to talk about today. We've got a new month blossoming before the end of the week. We've got some old energy moving out. How did you guys feel about that new moon that just happened on Sunday night? I'll tell you, it was a whopper for me. I don't know about you. It was in Libra, which my sun sign. I am a Libra. I actually have a birthday coming up in a couple weeks. And I think my birthday's on a Tuesday. I was going to say if it's on a Monday, we could have a birthday party right here on the show, and you could all come down and join me. But unfortunately, it's not on Monday. But if you do tune in, my birthday's October 12th. So if you do tune in and you want to say happy birthday, make sure you do that on the show. So I am going to share the show, and I'm going to ask all of you to share the show so that I can see who's on and who's not on. Tonight we're going to talk about some astrology. I'm going to give you an energy update of what to expect with the energies coming in. And I'm also going to go to the phones or the comments and look for some cards to do for you guys. So let me start by going on to here. I don't know why I'm not able to see my show. Oh, here I am. I thought I was lost for a minute. I'm like, how come I can't see myself? But here I am. So I'd love it if you guys did comment tonight because I want to be able to read you guys. Last week we had so many people on the comments and calling in. I didn't get to read a lot of people. So if you got read last week and you want to just let someone else have a turn this week, that would be really cool. So we're going to share the show and do that. Okay. Just going to breathe a minute. I went to a new exercise class this morning. It was called Eccentric Exercise for Aging Backwards. And it was great class. The instructor was Martine at my yoga studio. And first time I ever took that class, and it was absolutely fabulous. It was a lot of stretching, a lot of movement, but really like putting yourself into the muscles of the body. And the whole premise of the class is that when we use our muscles and we use our joints and we use our body in certain ways, we actually lubricate things and we don't have that creakiness when we wake up in the morning. So I'm testing it and I'm going to see if it really works that way or not. I can't wait to see in the next couple of days or a few weeks. I'm going to keep taking that class and see how it goes. So I'll let you know if I get less creaky in the morning. I know we all have those, especially I feel like since COVID, it made me a little bit sedentary, and I'm not a sedentary person at all. So hopefully it'll work because Mama don't like getting old. So anyway, so again, sharing the show to all my pages so that you guys can all see me where you need to see me. Group. Going to share us on Zenkuda Astrology. Going to share us on Long Island Spiritual Individuals. Sharing you guys everywhere. I'm not seeing my Zenkuda site, though. I don't know why. You know, sometimes Facebook is so weird and finicky. All right, so who have I got on tonight? Enough chitter-chatter. Who have I got on here? Sarah's on here, my faithful watcher. Sarah's coming from down south. I have Joanna Maya on here. Lori G. Hello, Lori G. And I have Aaron all the way from Texas. Aaron, I hope you're not in the path of any hurricanes. I have relatives over in Bradenton, Florida, that we're a little worried about tonight. So hopefully anybody who's calling in from Florida. Lori G., do I see you moving? I'm going to pull a card really quick for Lori G. because I know that when people start piling in a few minutes, I might not get to her later. So let me just see. And if you can in the comments, Lori, tell me what sign you're on. Hey, Ann Rothy, nice to see you on again. You've been very faithfully watching every week. So if you guys have not yet, I would love it if you would hop on over to YouTube after the show and share my show. The show will be shared there, but subscribe to my YouTube channel because really want to get some of my subscribers up over there. It's very important. Okay, so Lori G., I'm seeing that you're very nostalgic about a certain area that you want to move to for some reason. You feel to feel more like home for you, more like an authentic home for some reason. But I'm not getting the feeling like that's where you grew up. I feel like this is a place where you just feel like you belong. I don't see you moving quickly or in the very near future, but I do see you having hard work pay off. So if this move is something for you that you've been working towards a really long time, then I do see it happening for you. All right. So I'm going to go back to cards in a few minutes. I just want to open a little bit with some Zenkuda astrology. So I'm going to actually try to share my screen with you guys. I'm a little fumbly today. So I don't know if you guys are seeing this at home. Yeah, there you go. Zenkuda astrology. It's time for Zenkuda astrology. So I'm going to go to a full screen here. Oops, sorry. Have to bear with us. It's our first time. So I don't know if you guys can see this chart. Looks like a whole lot of stuff going on. But the chart that I really want to show you is this chart of the moment. All right. I'm going to try to enlarge this so you guys can see it. Let me bring this down a little bit. And for those of you who are just watching, don't worry. We're going to explain this to you. So if you look at this chart, if you're those of you who are looking at home, if you're looking at this chart and you see, I just want to change the view a little bit. Where's my presentation view? All right, I'll have to figure that out later. So if you look at this chart, you can see through my cursor, I made my cursor really big. You've got the sun and the moon together here, right? And now the moon's kind of further away. It's at 15 degrees. But yesterday, the reason why we had a new moon was because both of these, sun and moon, were at 3 degrees of Libra, actually 2 degrees of Libra. So that's why we had a new moon yesterday in Libra. But if you look, you have these other planets that are all jumped up here. Venus and Mercury are going to be going into Libra soon, and we're going to have a lot of Libran energy. That's a lot of air. So what we can look forward to in the next couple of weeks, and especially for the month of October, we have a lot of Libran energy coming in, and we have a lot of air energy, because down here in the other part of the chart where Aquarius is, we've still got Saturn, all right? So if you look at this air, a lot of air, right? We have Saturn in air. We've got all these planets in Libra, which is air. So when you see a lot of air in a chart, it usually means that the chart is going to be extremely busy. It's going to be a little bit erratic. You know, think about the element of air. What does it do? It breathes life into things. It can also be ferocious. It can be a warm breeze. So it keeps changing. It's very mutable and very changeable. So we're going to have a lot of that energy come October. And it's starting up now. That new moon that we just had actually, I'm going to save this and cancel. I'm going to go back to our regular screen. And that new moon that we just had a couple of days ago, I can't come out of this now. Okay, so the new moon that we had a couple of days ago, or yesterday, I'm distracted. I'm sorry, guys. So the moon that we just had a couple of days ago actually ignited new energy. And it ignited the energy that we're going to be seeing a lot of in the month to come. And what's that energy? Well, first of all, if you remember, I've been talking about since 2020, and we need a full camera on, Bob. Well, if we remember, I've been talking a lot in 2020 about the square of Uranus and Saturn. You've heard me talking about that, so I'm kind of blue in the face. So basically what that's about is the control versus freedom that we've had. These structures that have been really coming down on us and not, limiting our things and not bringing us to a new place. We're really confused in the energy. We're still worried about all these structures breaking down. And what happens is now that energy is going to shift. And the way it's going to shift is this new moon ignited that energy once again of Saturn, our limitations, and Uranus, freedom. This is why we've seen all of these structures in government, everything caving in, and even in our own life, some of the structures and belief systems that we've had kind of caving in. Well, now what happens is when this new moon now starts to ignite that again, it does it for culmination of an energy that's going to build into a crescendo as we go into the eclipse season. So the first eclipse is going to happen on October 25th, and then there's another really big major eclipse that happens in November, right on Election Day. So in regular terms, what this is meaning for us is that October starts out with a lot of air and a lot of changeable, mutable energy. And it does that to give us the opportunity to find the energy and find the wisdom, find the thought process of these things that we've been trying to accomplish, especially since last spring, whatever that has been for you, whatever change that is in your life or project or whatever, maybe it's just a belief system. But whatever has been happening with that since spring, now this new moon comes in and ignites it, a lot of air energy behind it, almost like the hurricane in Florida. And it gives us the things that we need in order to now bring our ideas, our changes into activation. And that's what the rest of the year is about. Remember, I said to you on the last broadcast, it's a time to paint the cracks in the driveway. It's time to clean the porch. Whatever we don't take care of is going to come back to bite us in a really, really big way come March of 2023 when the energy really shifts. But right now, what we're in is this time period. It's all about putting into activation the ideas, the things that we know we're supposed to be doing, that we want to do, our soul wants to do them. Now the universe is really giving us a push to activate them and actuate them. In Virgo energy, which is the energy that we are leaving behind, we talked a lot about relate and how we relate to things. Virgo is the energy of how we are able to relate to everything in the world, everything. How do you relate to things? What's your relative process? Now, when the planet starts switching into Libra, it becomes how do you take those things, the processes and the way you relate, and bring them into relationship. So the zodiac, when it goes around, is all sequential. It's all for our own growth. So now this month of October is all about relationships and communication. We're going to see that Saturn-Uranus square get touched on again, the control versus freedom, but now we're ready to talk about it. We're ready to find a way to reason with it, to sweep the porch clean of what no longer works and start slowly building, maybe laying a very tiny foundation that we're going to build upon slowly, brick by brick. Libra starts that energy of it in October of this year, where we're really starting to get to the point where we're moving things forward. It feels better. Towards the end of the month, this is really going to be in play. So October 2nd, Mercury goes direct. October 8th, Pluto goes direct. October 9th, we have a full moon in Aries. Now, a full moon in Aries is like there's gas in the car. We got the Knox bottle under the dashboard. We're going to hit the button and we are just going. We're not cruising at 60 anymore. We are now doing 190 going into the galactic area. That is a full moon in Aries happening on the 9th. Then things get a little quiet in the zodiac, in astrology for a little while, because we got to integrate all this new energy. So during that time period between October 9th and October 20-something-ish, we're going to be going through a lot of changes, a lot of relationship changes. You're going to see a lot of people getting engaged. You're going to see a lot of marriages crumble. You're going to see a lot of things that were based on beliefs that you don't believe in anymore. Those partnerships are just going to fall away. Business partnerships, partnerships that are from old energy of how you used to be, how the attachments that you used to be attached to, the things in your life that now are no longer not in service to you, but just no longer can be part of your vibration. You're going to reach that threshold of intolerance where you're just like, yeah, no more. When we hit that October 23rd type area there, that's when Saturn goes direct. And when Saturn goes direct, Venus also enters Scorpio. And that's when we start to collect the energy for the October 25th eclipse in Scorpio. Suddenly, our energy goes from Libra, the diplomat, the communicator, the balancer, the harmonious, the sweeping the porch clean. I don't want this anymore. I'm going to be okay. I need to bring this new thing into my life. We go from that energy towards the third week in October of the Scorpio energy. The energy of, I'm going to dig deep now. I'm really going to do the work I need to do to get my soul adjusted. I'm going to find out what's really blocking me from my alignment, and I'm going to blow it apart. That's Scorpio. Scorpio has two speeds. I love you, I hate you. So they do. If you ever know a Scorpio, I have a Scorpio moon. I love everybody till you cross me. Then it's just like, boom, gone. So I'm over here. I'm going to love you from afar now. So it's so true of Scorpios. So that new moon comes in with a solar eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio. It's conjuncting Venus because Venus now has traveled from its retrograde period in Virgo and Libra into Scorpio. Now we're on fire. Now we are emotional. that Libra energy that's all air, that puts us in our heads that we can do the tasks that we need to do, lets us sweep the porch clean of the people and the places and the situations we no longer want in a very healthy, detached way. Now Scorpio comes in, and all the emotion that we didn't feel in the beginning of October comes in to meet up with all the things we did and weren't so worried about. But now Scorpio comes in, and it's basically I'm really emotional about this, but I have to stay the course. So after that, on October 28th, Jupiter goes back into Pisces, retrogrades into Pisces, which means our connections are really deep. When you've got a lot of Scorpio energy and Pisces energy, oh my gosh, are you able to connect? You're deep. You don't want to just kiss the boy. You want to like roll around and have the best time of your life and everything. You don't want to just eat a meal. You want to smell it and taste it and look at it. Isn't it so beautiful? And I got to dive into it and I want to wear it. That's Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy is not satisfied with a dip in the pool. Scorpio wants to go in the deep end and stay there for a really long time. That's Scorpio energy. So after that, you've got Mercury going into Scorpio. That's the deep focus. That's our minds now. By the end of October, right before Halloween. Now we've got all this Scorpio energy, and then finally our brains go there. And now we're thinking deeply. Now our souls aren't just feeling it deeply. Now we have the creativity through the mind to actually bring it into the world and birth it with this beautiful, deep focus that our minds have. And then October 30th, that very confusing, very erratic Mars in Gemini goes retrograde, where it's going to be in Gemini until March. And that's when the energy changes, is when it finally comes out in March. But Mars retrograde in Gemini is very introspective desire. We've got all this hot, passionate, fiery, obsessive, jealous, deep dive, focusy energy of Scorpio. And then when Mars goes retrograde in Gemini, we bring all of that energy from being out into the world and wanting to do something with it to a deep introspection. And we become very soulful. This holiday is going to be a very soulful holiday. We're going to want to really be with our loved ones. We're going to want to have intimacy. We're not going to want to just have those conversations that are benign and boring. And, oh, yeah, the weather's been really cold lately. No. We're going to want to know, what makes your soul sing? What are you really trying to birth from your soul? What's a lesson your soul really wants to learn? And that's really how the energy is going to play out. But October is all about relationship and communication. We take the lessons from the Virgo energy that we've had this past month, and we bring it into October to now bring those relationship to a different level. This is about us communicating. Virgo is how we relate. Libra is how we bring the way we relate into the relationships. In Libran energy, the thing we have to be really careful about is not to identify ourselves and give our validation and our worth and our opinions validity through the other. You must, in Libra, to really balance and find harmony, it's an energy of now you understand what you need, you understand what you require, and you are able to give it to yourself, knowing the sovereignty of that without having to have the other validate it. This is really about standing in your own identities. I had a conversation that was really interesting, and I'm sure that person's going to be listening to this broadcast, so hey, yesterday. And the conversation was about how many of us, especially those of us who are middle-aged or in certain generations, didn't really get the chance to individuate and become independent from our parents a lot. A lot of us controlled and lived in a controlled environment as children and young adults. So that when we got to be real adults and, in our middle ages, now we were fighting for our own identities. And we became very possessive of that. We became very hyper vigilant about, maintaining our independence and not letting anyone step on us. And I've found that this energy is really amplifying that, because we have a time in the last couple of years that's been really heavy in awakenings. And part of awakening means you're going to discard a lot of belief systems that you were given. Part of awakening means that you're going to question yourself, not for the purpose of being inferior or finding fault, but when you have an awakening, you question yourself to bring yourself to a much higher knowledge, a much higher level. a place where you want to feel really good in your own skin and know that your beliefs are true and correct for you. So when we get to that place, we automatically develop a healthy detachment because we're so strong in our own identity. And that's a really great place to be. And I think that's what, if we've been doing our work these last couple of years with the planetary alignments, that's really where we are now, is standing in our space and being really sovereign. And when I say sovereign, I mean in command, in charge of ourselves. And so now we can bring all that energy to this new place that the universe is bringing us, because the energy is really going to change these next few months. It's building to a crescendo. And then in November and December, you're going to really start to feel some changes, especially the beginning of 2023. It's like the last 2-3 years have really been for a reason. And so it's building to this crescendo where now when we do go out in the world and we can finally bring out the things we've been birthing and working on, we're much more confident in them. We're much more solid. We're much more in power, in control. And that's the other thing that you're going to see come out a lot between now and the end of the year is all these power plays. October is a huge month for power plays. You're going to see that happening in the media with a lot of things in the world. And you're also going to see that happening in your personal lives. Because when we have a lot of air energy, that's what happens. It's mutable. And some people are uncomfortable in that changeableness. So they really assert their power. You're going to see a lot of really huge assertions for power. So choose what conversations and what communications you want to do. With Mercury still retrograde here, this can be a lot of misunderstandings for communications. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw in the news somebody misspeak and it becomes a huge viral thing, and then they have to apologize or say what they really mean. Those are the kind of things we're going to see a lot of in this energy. So check the email before you send it. There's a lot of triangular energy in this month of October. And by triangular, I mean that definitely double check your communications. This is the kind of energy where you'll be complaining or saying something not so good about someone and by mistake send the text to them instead of the other person. It's like a triangle. This is the type of energy where you'll find out that someone has been unfaithful because you meet the person they've been unfaithful with, and you both start talking and saying, wait, I'm going out with that person. What do you mean? That's my boyfriend. And then you and that person start talking, and you form a triangle with the boyfriend, and then you both go to the boyfriend. It's that kind of energy, not the best energy in the world, but it's like that. It's a wild week, especially this particular week for that type of triangulation. It's a wild week with Venus and Virgo going into that Libran area. And again, it can be an emotional seesaw because of the changeability of the mutableness of what we've got going on. Lots of back and forth, waffling, wobbling, but that's going to stop by the end of this week when all of a sudden the energy really goes into more severe power plays and people get more entrenched and determined about what they want. I will tell you, and you can take this for what it's worth, but I know this to be true. I know it psychically, I know it astrologically, and I know it in my soul. The energy that is coming in now, that's been in play, I'll say maybe for 2022, leading up to it was 2021, all the turmoil, all the stuff, but 2022 especially, and between now and the end of the year, this is setting up your next 20 years. This is setting up the next 20 years of your life, the decisions you make today. So really make sure that you know what communication, what conversations, the way that you want your relationships to be by the way you relate and process everything in the world. What is your style of relatability? What relates to you? What do you relate to? That's what a relationship is about authentically. The decisions we make now are setting up our next 20 years of how we want to relate to the world, how we relate to ourselves, and the relationships we have within those relative things. Very much changing energy, but setting it up for the next 20 years. This is very much an energy of finishing what you started. Those projects that you were birthing in spring, those ideas that you had, but they're kind of ethereal and they're kind of hanging out in the ethers. Put pen to paper, nail to wall, whatever you have to do, move them forward, because this is the energy, like I said, for another 20 years that you're going to be igniting and putting things in play. Hey, Chris. Hey, Janine. I'm going to go to cards in 2 seconds. Somebody said that NASA is going to blow up an asteroid in a little while. I didn't even know that. How do I not know this? I didn't know that. I have to read about that and get back to you. So power plays, like I said, after Monday, we've got a lot of Plutonian energy in, and those power plays, I will tell you, are going to have a lot to do with women energy, energies of people who are in service, you know. So like typically, like I wouldn't be surprised if like someone who is okay, like a perfect example is I saw in the news this morning some abortion rights activist or anti-abortion rights activist, pro-lifer maybe, I don't really know, I don't watch the political news very often, was arrested. That's the kind of energy. It's women, it's people who are in service, power plays with that kind of energy. Changings of power, dealing with angry energy also. We're going to have a lot of that between now and the end of the year. It peaks now. All of this is happening to create a consciousness of change. The universe wants you to be in the consciousness, the mindset, the brain of change, change, change. You're going to see situations that you haven't seen before when the sun goes close to Venus, and when Venus is going to go into Libra, and then the sun's going to be right there, and Venus will be going retrograde, so it'll hit that. Mercury is retrograde, so it'll also be there, and that is when you're going to see situations you didn't see before. Something that maybe was happening like behind your back, and you'll come out. So I wanted to tell you guys the most important thing I was going to say. You can see all my scramblings, my little scramblings. If you have any questions, just ask, okay? Any ideas that you guys had in the spring, now is the time to organize and reorganize and get them out there. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about, and then this is the end of my speech, and then we'll go to cards. You're going to see from October 20th on a lot of new directions also for food programs and food, how food is made, those kind of things. New processes, new habits with food, changes with metabolism. So it's a great time around that October 20th. If you're starting any kind of a food program, exercise, diet, want to change your habits with food, that is a really, really great time to do that. So bottom line, if you get nothing from everything I just talked about for the last 20 minutes, here's the thing. Recognize what you need. Recognize what you need. This month is all about your relationships, communication, the conversations you want to have and you don't want to have, what conversations are important, what conversations you need to walk away from, but especially with yourself. This is about how you relate to yourself and recognizing what you need. How many times are we in anxiety or upsetness? You know, I always tell people upset isn't a word. Upset is not a word. And you need an emotion. I'm angry, I'm jealous, I'm fearful, I'm happy, I'm joyful. Upset is not a word. So how many times are we in an emotion and we want to come out of it and we'll be like, you know what, I'm just going to eat a donut, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to go out and hear some music, or I'm going to go call this person. And we do these things mindlessly, trying to get out of the emotion. But when was the last time you had those emotions, whether even happiness, you know, joy, lightheartedness? When was the last time you had an emotion and you sat in it to recognize what you really needed? You sat in it to recognize what had to really be done before you just did the thing you always do. If you're really tapped in and you're doing your work and you're in the soul space, that's what you're going to be working on this month. Where do I really need to be? Recognize what you really need. Recognize with yourself. Remember I said that in the last broadcast, I said we need, that quiet listening. Well, now quiet listening goes from that to some really deep introspection. That Scorpio energy that we're going to be having towards the end of this month changes us up. So we really need to recognize what it is that we need to do with our lives, and we have to do it because these are really, really critical times. And if you don't do it now, the universe is going to come in with a wrecking ball to show you that you need to do it. And this is also setting the energy for the next 20 years. So think about how all of these outer changes that, we can't escape, we can't get away from. I'm in the real estate business. We're writing 7% mortgages. I started the year writing 2.9s. Big change. But how do the outer changes, the prices in the grocery store, the prices for home heating, the prices, for everything, the politics that are coming in, the women's abortion rights and not rights, all of these things. How do all these outer changes affect your inner change? Are they creating a situation that's opening you to new beliefs, where you have this beautiful opportunity now to expand your life by believing something completely different than you ever did? Is it expanding you to realize that the things that were once impossible are now possible? And you've got the motivation now because the planets are actually coming in and giving it to us, giving us the space we need, showing our soul what's really important to do it. So now is the time to really get out there and do what you have to do. So I'm going to read some cards because maybe there's some messages in the cards for us to know what we have to do to change our lives. And these can be small interchanges. They can be big interchanges. But for those of us who say, oh, you have to live in your bubble. No, you can't live in the bubble because some of those outer changes that are occurring with healthy detachment, we can't be consumed by them. But those outer changes are leading you and showing you to inner changes. That's what an awakening is. It's seeing something with our eyes or our ears, or reading something, or speaking something before we know we're going to speak it and we really hear it. It's using our five senses to bring communication, to bring energy into our body and our soul, so that now we're rising above those five senses to process it to a new interchange. That's really the process of an awakening. You're shown something, to put it inside, to bring it back out, totally converted, totally integrated, totally different, totally changed. So I hope you guys are getting that. So let me look at my comments while I pick some cards. I just had a comment. I saw that was really cool. Don't know what happened to it. Oh, I'm on a delay. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to pick a card for, got to find out. Anybody know about that asteroid we're blowing up? Hey, David, how are you? Okay, so I picked a card for Laura G. I'm going to pick a card for Janine. I know Janine had a little bit of a difficult weekend. And also, before I forget, because I do go on, can everyone send up some hearts and things for everyone that's out there in the Zenkuda Soul Space? I have a lot of people who are watching, who are in my Reiki circle group, my pink ladies, my teal ladies, really need some love and some healing sent to them. If I have Reiki practitioners watching, please send some long distance Reiki to anyone who needs it. And I just really want to send some love in the community. And then if you all could send me some energy so I can be reading these cards for you, that's a really, really cool thing too. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're going to have rewards for that, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. Okay, so first person I'm pulling a card for is Janine. Like I said, Janine had a little bit of a challenging weekend. The universe is showing her something. So before I started, I had all these computers out, and I had my iPad and all these things, and Bobby thought I was so techie. And I said, well, this is what I do all day long. But unfortunately, we got to work on the split screen stuff. So next time I do a show, I'm going to promise you it's going to be beautiful. We can look at charts and things. Would you all like that? Okay, so Janine, picking cards for you. Universe, tell us what changes Janine has to work on. Okay. So Janine, I'm seeing in the cards that you're getting a little bit distracted by things that are too close to you, and you have to look at a bigger picture. It's almost like I'm getting a visual of like when we put, I didn't put on my really cool glasses tonight. I forgot. It's almost like when we put on a pair of reading glasses so we can see everything close up. And then we're trying to like see who just walked in the door with the same glasses on. I feel like you're becoming, I want to use the word myopic, where you're really, everything is coming into your focus and distracting you away from your long-term goals and visions. So try and really, go back to your long-term goals and visions. That's what I'm seeing here, because the world wants to give you gifts, but you're competing against it. You're competing against these things that are in your close range vision when you should be looking further out and planning. Remember, this time is about the next 20 years of your life. So get going on what you really want to do. A lot of times what I do in meditation, and sometimes when I'm in Savasana at the end of yoga, or sometimes when I am just falling asleep, I envision the way that I want my ideal life to be. Very, very powerful. I have to say that everything I've ever envisioned in my life has always come true. So a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, of course. But I believe that vision work is one of the most powerful things we can do, especially now where the planets are aligned where they are. Really great time to set intention and do some really amazing envisioning. All right. Keep missing my comments here. Okay, that was Janine. Joanne Papalardo. I am going to pull a couple of cards for you, Joanne. Joanne and I have to get together. I'm going to call you this week to set something up with you because I want to do something. Okay. And thank you so much for watching the show, everyone. I really appreciate you supporting my work. When I'm in the soul space with all of you and bringing you into my soul space, it really makes me feel like I have a purpose in the world. So tell your friends and get people into the soul space with us. So, Joanne, I see you walking away from an emotional situation. I know this seems like it's something difficult for you. It could be a physical move, but I feel like it's more emotional right now for you, trying to make maybe the decision about leaving something or walking away. Even if that's not a physical walk away, it's in your mind. You're saying, you know what, I've had enough of this. I need to like back off a bit. It's kind of a difficult situation or decision for you because it's something that you traditionally believe you should be doing and should be there supporting that person. But I think maybe the energy is really looking towards you moving away from them, because the other card that I pulled, this third card, is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is like your cup runneth over, getting everything you want in life. And I feel like for a little while, you've got to kind of walk away from this attachment that you're having in order to bring what you are supposed to get in your life. It's almost like this attachment that you have to this person is stalling your own happiness. So think about, you put yourself first is really what I'm seeing there for you, Joanne. Hey, Bob, can we get a camera on the table? And I'm going to pick a couple of cards for Chris Colucci. Hey, Chris. Okay. Chris came to our Arboretum gathering the other day. I'm going to put my candles here. Make it look all woo-woo. Does it look okay on screen? It does. Bobby likes the way that looks. It's hard to do it when you're on a monitor. I don't know how they do it on TV. And then this guy can come in. Okay. So these candles look so real, guys, and they're not. Look, oh, I can put my hand in a flame. Hey, I should do that. I know I'm crazy, but I make people laugh. It's good. My friends always say, you're so funny. I never knew you so. You saw me shuffle. I just picked the same card that Joanne got. So, Chris, I guess you're walking away from something too. This I always feel like is my card of walking away from an attachment, and it's an emotional thing. It's like it's hard to do, but it's for your greater good. I guess that's the way that I would say it. All right. And oh my God, you guys saw, these are the same exact cards that Joanne just got. The same exact cards. You guys saw me shuffle them. I'm going to reshuffle and we'll see. If they come out again, then we know that there's some voodoo going on tonight. Okay, Chris, link your energy with mine. I just got something. I'm going to say, I know you have a daughter. I'm going to say, if there's anything that like it's a little conflict or something at school or something, or if it does happen, don't freak out or don't put too much into it because it's going to resolve itself very quickly. Okay, so I got a Queen of Swords. That would be a earth sign woman. Sometimes it's a Libra, okay? Could be a male or female. You know what I started to do recently was I don't even have gender with the cards anymore because it's really, the energy doesn't really align that way. So in today's world. So I've got someone who is an air sign coming in, offering you something. And it relieves you of a burden. Like you're carrying someone else's burden, you're holding on to something, but there's someone who comes in, I feel like it is a female actually, who either offers you advice or actually offers you some way out of this particular situation, and then you're relieved of the burden. Because this card is upside down for me, and right side up, this is carrying the burdens that don't belong to you. You're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and it's upside down here. So that leads me to believe that the situation actually resolves itself. but you're going to be offered a way out or something that resolves it for you. You're not aware of what it is yet. But when I was shuffling the cards and linked with your energy, I did get something about your little girl that is just making her a little bit unhappy, or I don't even, that's even a strong word to use, just like some kind of a little conflict or something. It's going to iron itself out and smooth itself out. Don't overreact. It's really not going to be a big deal in the end, if there is anything. All right. Could be school jitters. I don't know. But what I'm going to say is that right now you're stuck on this situation that I'm talking about where you're carrying a burden that doesn't belong to you. You will be offered something through this possibly Libran person. It's definitely an air sign that relieves that situation. It could be the situation I'm getting with daughter, but I feel like it's two different situations. What I want to say to you in closing with the cards is you're waiting for something to help you move a situation forward that is a burden to you, to relieve the burden. But this is a message that I got actually yesterday, and I'm going to give it to you. This is the Chariot card that's all about moving things forward. When I see this in a tarot spread, it means moving forward. We need to move something forward, make a decision on something to move forward. You're waiting for something to fall into place or someone else to give you this thing, and it will come. But don't forget, you are the Chariot. You are the one in power. You are the one who has the power to move yourself forward. And that was the message that I got just yesterday. I was in a Reiki healing session where I was receiving Reiki, and this Chariot came in, and the voice was, "You are the Chariot." Like, it's not a vehicle we have to get into to take us somewhere. We can take ourselves any place we want to go. We are the Chariot of our life. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. And very powerful, actually. So you can let me know if any of that resonates. Okay, so Joanna Maya, I'm going to pick a card for you. Joanne, I feel like it's health here. I know you've been having health issues, but I feel like it's health. Please surround yourself with light. If everybody, we can send up some hearts and thumbs up for Joanne so that things go well. I know she's got some stress in her life right now. Okay, Joanne, I'm going to pick 3 cards. Again, you guys see me shuffling. We are getting the 9 of Cups all day long tonight, man. That means good things coming. Very optimistic card. So don't block it, okay, Joanne? I'm feeling like don't block it. Keep your thoughts positive. Also feeling like you need to clean out your body. Like you're not taking care of the body. You need to clean out, purge. Drink lots of water. Stop if you're eating junk food or things that aren't healthy. Go on some kind of a plan for better health, because I'm feeling the body toxic a little bit, and you have control over that. You need to give yourself illumination about that healthy stuff. You're kind of burying your head in the sand and acting like it's not a big deal, but you need to be healthier. That's definitely what I'm getting. So take control of that, all right? Call-in number is, wait, all day long my mind's been going blank. 516-945-90. Oh, got a call, so someone got it. And Bobby will put the number up. Hi, you're on Soul Space with Georgia Rose.
Oh, hi, George.
Oh, you found the number. It's Aaron. I recognize your voice.
Sorry, George. It's Aaron. My phone messed up a little bit.
That's okay. I'm glad you found the number. Bobby's going to put it on the screen.
I was like, no, it's gone.
That's the day. I tell you, Mercury's retrograde is coming out of retrograde October 2nd, so it's being very fierce with us this week. So that's why I said, definitely check your DMs and your emails and whatever else we send, because it's a type of energy where you'll be like cursing somebody out and send the email to them instead of the person you want to talk about. So what's going on with you? How did you do with your job? How did you do with your job interview? I know we talked to you last week.
So it was just the phone screen. I don't know. I'm still waiting.
Okay.
I'm actually I'm really hopeful. Like I really need it kind of. So how do I put this in a way? Like it's just been, I don't know what this last week was, but this last week there was definitely new information revealed.
I told you that was going to happen.
I think I felt like I got like the universe hit me in like all different directions.
Well, I think it was a clearing, though, for
every
you.
area of life.
Yeah, I think it was a clearing. I think it hurts when we're going through it, but then when the dust settles, we're like, gee, I don't have to deal with any of that anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I had days this week where I was like, you know what, this is the worst. Like, this is the worst year. This is the worst possible. And then I was like, you know what, though? The thing about the worst is it, like, you can't get any worse than the worst.
Don't put that out there.
Huh?
Let's not put that out there, but because we don't want
Like,
the universe to be like, oh, I can show you worse. But
No, I mean, I felt like that's what's happened to me all week. But
well,
I mean,
and that's how I'm
basically,
feeling.
there's only up.
Yeah, and that's how I'm feeling the energy with you is that it's a clearing for you, and that sometimes we got to start again, and it's like I use the analogy of that arrow, like reaching back to make it go forward, and I feel like this has been a cleansing. As much as it's hurt, I feel like the universe wants to bring you new stuff, because I just pulled the Two of Wands, and that's like someone who's got the whole world in front of them. They're holding their future in their hand, and they can now create it.
Yeah.
So I think like a lot of things have been cleared for you to put you in a different perspective. I feel like you should take a vacation. I feel like you just need to get away from it all and come back refreshed.
So I definitely need a vacation. I wasn't at work today because of some health issues, and it kind of like it was also like the final straw too.
Yeah.
With work, where it was like, I'm telling you, I have an emergency. Especially for like the woke company that I work for, that's very pro like work-life balance and unlimited PTO.
Wellness, yeah. Well, I will tell you, I feel like you're in a lot of hypocrisy right now, and that really is grating on your nerves. It's depleting you. So I think you need to just, kind of like, even if it's just a long weekend or something, I feel like you need a change of scenery just to refresh yourself.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I'm pulled cards for you while we're on the phone, and I definitely see interference in your plans for the future. But I feel like it's waning now. I feel like this is what all this clearing and falling away is. It's actually bringing you someplace so that you can now have a clean slate for the future. So don't be surprised if something does happen with the job, because I feel like the universe wants to give you something different.
Is that in a good way or
in a good way? No, in a really good way. And one of the things that I'm getting with your energy is this interference that's happening in your life. It's not interference like a person or a situation. I feel like the energy is negative energy because you're becoming preoccupied because of all these things that are happening. So you're starting to think a lot about this has been the worst year and things like that. And that's why I'd like to see you take a little vacay, because you got to flip it over. The Aaron I know is always so positive, and I feel like you're losing him.
Yeah.
So you got to get him back. Get your mojo back, kiddo.
Yeah, I definitely need that.
And the Page of Cups card came up again, and that came up last week for you. So you definitely are getting a communication about something. Good stuff is coming, Aaron. You just got to change your mindset.
Yeah, I realized that, yeah, basically I think I've been taking care of everyone else instead of taking care of myself.
Yes,
and then that caused me to have a health issue that I normally would never have.
Yeah, your immunity gets low when you do that. Yep. And this month is all about relationship with the self. So October is all about that. It's going to bring all of that to the forefront. So you're right where you're supposed to be. Do me a favor and go someplace fun. Like, don't go someplace that's going to be work, or like you have to be around a lot of people. Like, go see a good friend or take a good friend with you, and just have like one of those laying on the beach kind of vacations.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I would do, because I think you need that renewal. And then when you come back, you can start more fresh. So
okay.
that's my advice. That's my psychic advice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping to hear back from that other job.
I do think you're going to. I thought that before, and I do think it now. So, but let me answer a couple other people before we close.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Did you have no, it's okay. Did you have a question for me?
No, take up all the time. Okay.
Did you have a particular question you wanted me to answer really quick?
Oh, no, I was just really hoping to see, like, if I was going to hear anything about that job.
I definitely think you're going to hear something about that job, but I feel like you got to take a time out.
Yeah.
I think you're going to realize a lot of things during that time out too.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Aaron, I'll talk
All
to
right,
you.
well,
Okay. Love you. Bye-bye.
all right. Thank you. Bye.
So I wanted to just say, like what Aaron, I love it when people call in because a lot of times when people, there's another person calling in. Hi, you're on Soul Space with Georgia Rose.
Hi, this is Bonnie Crystal.
Hey, Bonnie, how are you? Bonnie was in my Reiki circle helping me the other night with Reiki. Thank you so much.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, thank you. Give you a shout out. Bonnie's a Reiki practitioner.
I was calling to ask about the delay is distracting. Let me take the earplug out. Sorry. I was calling to ask you. I'm trying to develop my mediumship skills,
Yes.
and the other day, a familiar voice woke me up, calling my name.
That's awesome.
But they said yes, very. But they said nothing else. They just woke me up.
So it could be a couple of things. It could actually be, someone trying to, say hello to you from the other side because now you're open to that. And as we work on our mediumship and we work on our psychic ability, we are become more open to those frequencies. So it definitely could have been doing that. I find, especially if you do a lot of healing work, a lot of Reiki work, if you're in a lot of circles like that, the energy gets amplified. It could have also been, someone you were dreaming about as well that is coming to you in a dream, which is also psychic, either way. But what I will say to you, and this is for anyone out there, I believe we can all do mediumship, we can all do psychic things. Very important when you're in those developing stages is, or you're already good at something and you want to bring it to another stage is, we all have a habit, I don't know, a nature of, we want to know what something is and we wait for an answer. And for instance, you want to know who that voice was or why it happened or whatever. We have to assign it that answer because we make it a lot harder and we slow our progress down when we wait for what something is. What the universe really wants us to do is form our own dictionary. So for instance, a lot of times I get feedback from the show that I was reading tarot and that's not what that card means. And that's what that card means to me, because when I developed the way I read tarot, I studied tarot and I did all that. But what I did was I developed my own dictionary by tapping into psychically reading the cards. So like certain cards mean certain things for me. Like I know the 18 or something in the major arcana, whenever that comes up, it's Steve, Stephanie, or some derivative of the word Stephanie is around that person. That's what I assigned that card to be. Because I had a friend of mine who communicates with me from the other side, and their birthday was 8/18. So for whatever reason, that card resembled that. I have a twin niece and nephew, and if I'm on, and they're not on the other side or anything, but if I'm doing a mediumship reading, and all of a sudden my twin niece and nephew pop into my mind, I know that something's coming in through about twins. So I developed the dictionary by telling Spirit what things would mean to me. Like, Spirit, if you give me a candle, I'm going to know that's my sign for illumination.
I see.
But people usually reverse that when they're trying to do psychic ability or mediumship. And you'll go to a lot of classes and they reverse it as well. That's why I'm not really big on psychic development in a classroom. You really have to work one-on-one because you have to create your own dictionary. So what you have to do is what you think that voice is and what you think it means, that is what it is.
I know who the voice was. It was my father's voice.
So then there you go. So then now it becomes...
calling my name.
Right. So now it becomes, upon awakening, it becomes, wow, I heard my dad's voice calling me last night. I wonder what that means. Now what you're going to do is say, my dad was calling my voice. I heard my dad call my name last night. He's telling me he loves me.
Yeah.
So you assign what you wanted, and you'll know he's probably going to talk to you again. You could even try to speak to him or, sit quietly and you'll hear it in your mind. He'll tell you things. I used to have conversations with my dad when he passed. And so, but that's what we have to do is really assign our symbols, because you will spend years waiting for Spirit to tell you what something is. You have to tell your guides, your angels, your spirits, whatever it is, that is what it is for you. Like, you know,
Okay.
instead of saying, oh, what does this rose mean? Say, okay, Spirit, when you show me a white rose, that's going to mean purity. Or when you show me a red rose, that's going to mean this. Or Spirit, when you show me yellow flowers, that's going to be my sign for this.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And you'll see how
Thank you.
it'll speed up for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very clear.
Yeah. Thanks, Bonnie.
Thanks for taking my call. Have a great night.
Yeah, and I love when people call in because usually what we talk about is for everybody, you know? Like when I do a reading for one person, it may speak to another. So I want to thank everybody for joining me on the Soul Space tonight. You can see me here every Monday at 7. We're probably going to have some guests coming in the next few weeks. So we'll still try and get some cards read for you. And you can always find me on YouTube at Zenkuda and on all of my social media. I'm all over. And this podcast will be banked on the Zenkuda on YouTube. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.